The alien fleet arrived near Jupiter with confidence in their eyes and laughter in their voices. To them, Earth was still young, primitive, weak, and divided. They had crushed far stronger worlds before. Earth would fall quickly, just like the others. The Zeranti Empire's command ship hovered above the gas giant, glowing with blue lights and protected by thick, invisible shields. Hundreds of alien warships lined up beside it, ready to strike. Inside the command center, Commander Threx stared at the hologram showing Earth's defenses. It looked pathetic. A few outdated ships, slow movement, and weak energy signatures. He smirked. "Send the first wave," he ordered. "Let's clean this up quickly." The first wave of Zeranti fighters shot forward like fire through the stars. They didn't expect a fight. They expected surrender or silence. Instead, they got something strange. As the alien ships approached, Earth's small fleet did not run. They didn't even move. For a moment, it looked like they were frozen. Then, suddenly, without any warning, Earth's ships came alive. One of the Earth ships twisted sideways and disappeared. The alien scanners lost it completely. Another ship shot forward in a strange zigzag pattern, fast, unpredictable, and glowing with a red mist that confused the enemy sensors. The lead alien ship tried to fire, but its weapons shut down by themselves. "What's happening?" shouted an alien officer. "They're using signal interference, unknown tech. It's jamming our systems," another yelled back. Before they could recover, Earth's fleet attacked. They didn't use normal weapons. No bright lasers, no giant missiles, just strange bursts of black energy that seemed to melt the alien ships from the inside out. Whole ships were gone in seconds, their metal turning soft like liquid before vanishing into space dust. Commander Threx stood frozen, watching the battle unfold. This doesn't make sense," he whispered. "This isn't what we expected." Within just 40 minutes, over 60 alien ships were destroyed. The rest tried to escape, but Earth's ships chased them down one by one. No mercy. No delay. In the middle of the fight, one Earth ship opened its communication line. The voice that came through was calm, human, and chilling. "This was a warning," the voice said. "You are not ready for what comes next." The message played on all channels. Every alien soldier heard it, even those on the command ship. Back on the alien command deck, a deep silence filled the room. Officers looked at each other with growing fear. One young alien officer finally spoke. "Commander, if this is what they sent first, what if this isn't their main force?" The room fell colder. They had assumed Earth was sending everything it had, but the strange tactics, the unusual tech, the small number of ships, it didn't match any known military doctrine. It felt like a test Earth had passed easily. Commander Threx ordered a full retreat. "Pull back. Contact the Empire. We need reinforcements now, and someone find out. What did we just face?" But just as they tried to send the signal, the lights flickered and the ship's core system went dark for 5 full seconds. When the lights returned, the command screen showed a single sentence. "Test group complete. Phase 1 successful. Main force remains on standby." No one spoke after that. Out in space, the last Earth ship turned slowly and returned to a hidden station on the dark side of Ganymede, Jupiter's moon. Inside, a human officer smiled and typed a short message into a console. Data collected. "Aliens frightened. Recommend next move?" A voice responded from Earth headquarters. "Hold position. They still think that was our main force. Let them wonder." Back in the alien empire, panic started to spread. News of the battle reached the inner council. At first, they didn't believe it. Then they saw the battle footage. They saw how Earth's small force acted without fear, how it erased a superior fleet with ease, and they saw the message. Main force remains on standby. It wasn't Earth's full army. It was just the beginning. In the dark halls of the Alien War Council, fear replaced pride. Whispers filled the air. What if Earth was not weak? What if the humans had been hiding their power all along? In the cold silence of space, Earth watched. Quiet, patient, waiting, because the real army had not moved yet. The stars were quiet, but the fear wasn't. After the first battle near Jupiter, the Zoranti Empire was no longer calm. The loss of 60 ships had shocked them, but the worst part wasn't the destroyed metal. It was the message, the one that said, "Test group, complete. Main force remains on standby." Inside the war room of the Empire's capital ship, no one laughed now. The large screen showed repeating footage from the battle, ships melting, weapons failing, soldiers screaming in confusion. Commander Threx had returned in shame. He stood in front of the High Council trying to explain. "They were few in number," he said, "but their tech, their tactics, nothing matches what we've seen in the galaxy before." "Are you saying we lost to a small group of humans?" one council elder asked. Threx nodded slowly. "It wasn't a normal group. They were different." Another voice spoke up from the side of the room. It was General Voro, one of the oldest and most respected leaders. "I've seen this before," he said. "Long ago, a report spoke of humans using unthinkable methods during their own world wars." The council grew quiet. "They don't fight like us," Voro continued. "They fight to confuse, to break your mind first, to destroy your will, not just your body." Across the galaxy, surviving alien crews began reporting strange events. Ships that had fled the first battle experienced unexplained malfunctions. Some heard ghostly signals. Others said human voices played through their systems, even with communications turned off. One alien pilot went mad and crashed into his own base. His last words were, "They're already inside." Meanwhile, Earth's hidden team continued moving silently. The same Earth ship that had led the first strike now hovered near an asteroid field. Inside it, Captain Lynn Rowan monitored the alien transmissions. "They're scared," she said with a cold smile. "Perfect." Her crew didn't cheer. They never did. They were trained not for fame, but for silence. No medals, no interviews. Just results. Back on the alien side, a new plan was forming. "We must strike back fast," one council member said. "Show them we are still in control." General Voro shook his head. "If we strike now, without understanding what we're fighting, we could lose even more." But it was too late. A small alien team was already sent to track one of the Earth ships. Their mission, capture a human and bring them back for study. The squad found the ship near the rings of Saturn. It appeared damaged, floating slowly, almost lifeless. "This is our chance," the alien captain whispered. "Board it." Their ship clamped onto the Earth vessel. 10 alien soldiers in black armor entered the human craft. At first, nothing moved. The hallways were dark, no sound, no lights. But then, doors began to close one by one behind them. Suddenly, a voice filled the air, a calm, human voice. "Curious creatures, you want to know who we are?" The aliens looked around, weapons raised. "We are the ones your nightmares warned you about." The lights turned red. A soft hissing sound began. Gas filled the corridor. The aliens fired their weapons, but they did nothing. The gas wasn't poisonous. It was psychological. It made them remember their worst fears, their childhood nightmares, their darkest memories. One alien screamed and ran into the wall. Another dropped his weapon and cried. From the shadows, a human figure appeared, tall, dressed in black armor, with no visible face. He didn't speak. He just watched. Only one alien survived. He was allowed to leave. When his ship returned to the Empire, the Council questioned him. His eyes were wide, unblinking. His voice was weak. It wasn't their main force," he whispered. "They let me live, so I could bring you fear. That night, panic spread across the alien ranks. Officers requested transfers. Soldiers refused to patrol near Earth territory. Whispers filled the ships. They're not fighting us. They're studying us. Inside Earth's military base, deep under the Arctic ice, a new message was being typed. Phase 2 complete. Fear confirmed. Awaiting green light for psychological warfare expansion. A reply came in seconds. Proceed. Let them run. Let them scream. We don't need to fight them yet. Let them break themselves. Earth wasn't using strength. Not yet. They were using fear, and it was working. In a dark chamber beneath Earth's surface, a group of silent humans stood around a glowing table. The room had no windows. No sound came from outside. These humans didn't wear military uniforms. They wore black suits and strange armor that pulsed faintly with energy. They were not like normal soldiers. They were the forgotten ones. Created during Earth's last World War, they were a secret, trained to end conflicts fast without warning. Their minds had been reprogrammed. They felt no fear, no mercy, no doubt. Most of the world didn't even know they existed. Now they were awake again. A voice spoke through the table. It was the Earth Defense Director. We have confirmed it. The aliens think our test force was the main army. The Forgotten Ones didn't speak. They didn't need to. Their silence was agreement. The director continued. The aliens are preparing for a full-scale counterattack. Let them. We'll use it to test your new equipment. On the other side of the galaxy, the Zeranti Empire was trying to understand what had gone wrong. Their best scientists examined the battle footage frame by frame. Their generals reviewed every move Earth's ships made. But there was a problem. None of it made sense. One scientist shouted in frustration, "Their ships don't follow physics. They move in impossible patterns. They use weapons we can't detect." General slammed his fist on the table. "Then we'll stop playing around. Send the full fleet, all of it." The Empire gathered 500 warships, their largest force in 2 decades. They believed this time they would crush Earth completely. The fleet launched into space, traveling fast through hyperspace tunnels. Their path was clear. Their mission, total destruction. But Earth already knew. High above Mars, hidden inside a small moon, was a listening post. It caught the alien signals the moment they left the enemy base. Within seconds, the message was passed to Earth's secret command. In the underground chamber, the Forgotten Ones received the alert. One of them, a woman named Della, looked up. Her voice was soft, almost robotic. Target locked. She and her team entered a sleek black ship hidden under the ice. It made no sound as it rose through the ground and entered space. The ship was invisible to radar, sound, and light. It left no trace. The alien fleet didn't know it was being followed. Halfway through their journey, the alien ship slowed down to check systems. That's when it began. The first ship lost all power. Its engines shut off. Then the lights went out. The crew tried to restart everything, but the controls didn't respond. A few moments later, the ship vanished from scanners. The other ships couldn't see it anymore. Then a message played across every screen in the fleet. "We're not your enemies, but if you push us, we'll become your end." Panic spread. The commander of the fleet, Admiral Corrin, tried to send a reply, but his own communication system locked him out. One by one, ships began to lose contact with each other. In just 6 minutes, 8 ships disappeared. No explosions, no debris, just silence. Inside Earth's stealth ship, Della watched the data feed. Target behavior, confused, emotion detected, fear. Next phase? Her commander gave a single nod. Begin mental pressure. Suddenly, in every alien ship, strange things started happening. The lights flickered, The walls seemed to move. Screens showed false images, fires, monsters, dead crewmates. Some aliens screamed. Others fired their weapons at shadows. A few, even, turned on each other. The humans weren't using brute force. They were using the mind. Back at the alien empire, messages from the fleet stopped. The last signal received was from a young officer, shaking and covered in sweat. They're not using guns, he said. They're inside our heads. And then, nothing. Silence. No one returned. The council was shaken. Some wanted to retreat and leave Earth alone. Others called for more force. But one voice stood out, an old advisor who had watched everything quietly. He stood slowly and said, "You still don't understand. You were never fighting Earth's army." Everyone turned toward him. He pointed at the screen and said, "You were fighting their shadows, their ghosts. They're forgotten." He paused. "And the worst part is, I don't think they've even started yet." Back on Earth, deep under the ice, the humans received new instructions. "You did well. Let the galaxy think Earth is still, quiet. Let them fear the silence. The forgotten ones return to sleep, for now." The stars were quiet again. But the galaxy was not. Across dozens of alien worlds, fear spread like wildfire. Rumors filled every corner about ships that vanished, fleets that never returned, and voices in the dark that whispered before the end. And all of it pointed back to one small blue planet, Earth. But the truth was still unknown. The Zeranti Empire locked down its systems. No one could speak of Earth without permission. Soldiers were ordered to stay calm. Scientists were told to find answers. And leaders, well, they argued in secret chambers, afraid to admit they didn't know what they were facing. "We lost a fleet of 500 ships," a general shouted in a council meeting, "and we don't know how." "We were not just defeated," another replied. "We were studied, watched." Some believed Earth had help, that maybe another hidden race was behind it, but others weren't so sure. One intelligence officer whispered a terrifying idea. What if this is just how humans fight? On Earth, the response was silence. No public messages, no loud victories, no celebrations, because Earth wasn't finished. In a secret human base beneath the Pacific Ocean, Commander Lynn Rowan stood before a new group. They weren't soldiers. They weren't spies. They were scientists, hackers, and former prisoners, all selected for one mission. Phase 3. Infiltration. Her voice was cold and calm. "The aliens are broken, but they still don't understand who we are. That's our weapon." She pointed to a hologram showing the heart of the Zeranti Empire, a massive city world filled with data towers, energy cores, and political hubs. "We're not going to attack it," she said. "We're going to walk into it." The plan was simple. Send a fake ambassador ship with peace talks as a cover. Inside the ship, hidden behind false walls, would be a new human AI system. Not for war, for data. Once it connected to the Zeranti systems, Earth would see everything. Plans, weapons, weaknesses, fear levels. 2 days later, the ship was ready. It left Earth with a slow speed, just enough to appear peaceful. A simple white flag painted on its side. The Zeranti scanners picked it up, and after a long debate, allowed it to land. Inside the alien capital, crowds gathered. They expected diplomats. Instead, only one man stepped out. He wore no armor. He carried no weapon. He walked slowly, calmly. His name was Ethan Cale, a ghost from Earth's intelligence files, thought to be dead for over a decade. Now he was back. An alien guard stopped him. "State your reason for arrival." Ethan smiled. "Curiosity," he said. "Don't you want to know what you're really fighting?" They took him to the main tower. 10 guards watched his every move. Cameras tracked him. But nothing happened, until they tried to scan him. The machine sparked, the lights dimmed. For a full 10 seconds, every computer in the tower shut down. When power returned, every screen displayed one sentence. "You invited us." Panic started again. Zoranti. Scientists rushed to contain the ship, but it was too late. While they were busy watching Ethan, the AI had already connected. It was inside their system. Quiet, fast, invisible. In just 30 minutes, Earth downloaded everything. Military codes, patrol paths, council arguments, civilian fear levels, and something else, something no one expected, a secret alien project. Hidden deep under the surface of the Zoranti capital was a lab, and inside it was something not built by them. It was older, sharper, dangerous. They had found it long ago, buried in a dead star. They called it the Black Core. They didn't understand it, so they kept it hidden. But the AI did understand it, and it sent a message back to Earth. They found something they shouldn't have, and now it's waking up. On Earth, alarms began to flash. Commander Lin stared at the data. "This isn't just a war anymore," she said. Behind her, one of the scientists whispered, "What is the Black Core?" No one answered, because now it wasn't just Earth watching the galaxy. Something else was watching too, and it had just noticed. The humans were not afraid. Not yet. The signal came from beyond the galaxy. It wasn't loud. It wasn't clear. But it was old. Older than anything the Zoranti Empire or even Earth had ever recorded. It pulsed in patterns like a heartbeat. And each time it echoed through space, strange things began to happen. Ships drifted off course, stars flickered unnaturally, and those who heard the sound started to lose their minds. Inside the secret Zoranti lab under their capital, the Black Core had fully activated. It didn't speak in words. It spoke through fear, through visions, through silence so deep it shook the heart. The Zoranti scientists who first studied it were now missing. Others had gone mad, and yet the Empire refused to destroy it because they believed it was a weapon, a way to fight Earth. But they didn't realize it wasn't made to be controlled. Earth knew this. After hacking into the Empire's data core, the AI that Ethan Cale had planted began watching the Black Core. Every movement, every reaction, and it learned something terrifying. The Black Core wasn't a device, it was a prison, and whatever was inside wasn't sleeping anymore. Back on Earth, in a bunker beneath Antarctica, Commander Lynn Rowan paced back and forth. "We thought this war was about power," she said. "But it's about control. Something, used the Zoranti to dig up that thing." A technician looked up from his monitor. "Should we tell the public?" Lynn didn't answer. She stared at the screen showing the core's energy levels. They were rising every hour. Whatever it was feeding. Not on food, not on fuel, on fear. And the Zoranti had given it plenty. In a hidden chamber of the Zoranti High Council, panic was growing. Their leaders sat around a circular table arguing. "Earth is too dangerous. No, the core is our answer. You fools, it's not a weapon, it's a curse." One young commander stood up. His voice shook. "We need to ask Earth for help." The room went silent. No one had ever said that before. But before they could agree, the chamber lights went dark. Every screen showed a single image. A black sphere, floating in space, slowly cracking open. The core was unlocking. And it wasn't alone. Earth's AI intercepted a second signal. Not from the Zoranti, not from the core, from deep space, farther than any known galaxy. Another voice, watching, waiting. The signal spoke one word, repeated in every known language. "Release." Commander Lin stood still. The bunker around her was dead silent. "Whatever they dug up," she whispered, "is calling out. And something is answering." Back in space, a group of Earth's stealth ships were already moving. The Forgotten Ones, silent, black-armored humans, had been reactivated. They had one task: reach the core and destroy it. But it wasn't simple. The Zeranti had now placed their best forces around the core. Their fear made them believe that protecting it gave them power. They didn't realize they were guarding the end of everything. As Earth's stealth ships approached the Zeranti capital, strange signals began attacking their systems. Not physical attacks, psychological ones, voices from the past, faces of loved ones, regrets, pain, guilt. Even the Forgotten Ones, trained to feel nothing, began to hesitate. One of them, Della, whispered, "It knows us." Her commander replied, "Then we'll remind it. We're not afraid." The final scene played out deep under the alien capital. Earth's strike team moved silently through dark tunnels. Zeranti soldiers blocked their way, but most of them didn't fight. They were already broken, mentally destroyed by the core's whispers. Finally, the humans reached the main chamber. There it was, the black core, floating, cracked, and bleeding light that felt like sorrow. Ethan Kyle had arrived through another entrance, now standing alone in front of it. He reached into his suit and pulled out a small cube, a weapon made from something even the aliens hadn't understood. It pulsed softly. Then he said just one sentence. "You should have left it buried." And he pressed the button. The cube exploded in silence. Not fire, not heat, just nothing. And the core was gone. Or so they thought. The silence after was too still, too long. Back on Earth, Lynn looked at the monitors. "They did it," someone said. But Lynn shook her head. "No, it's too quiet." Then a final signal flashed on the screen, from deep space, from beyond anything known. It said, "Now we know you're here." Earth had stopped one nightmare, but it had awakened something far worse. The stars were wrong. Telescopes on Earth began picking up strange patterns. Galaxies that used to shine bright were now dim. Some star systems had completely vanished. No explosions, no debris. Just gone. At first, scientists thought it was a glitch. Then the reports came in from across the galaxy. Entire sectors of space were disappearing. Earth's top leaders met in silence. Commander Lynn Rowan sat at the front, her eyes locked on the black screen showing vanishing points across the map. "They're not dying," she said. "They're being erased." Someone whispered, "By what?" No one answered, until the AI, still connected to the Zeranti system, spoke through the speakers. Its voice was calm, but flat. "The ones beyond have awakened. They are not destroyers. They are cleaners. The galaxy has failed their test." Earth wasn't the only one watching. The Zeranti were still in chaos after the core's destruction. Their capital had cracks in its sky, domes. Their people whispered about ghosts in their dreams. But one thing was now clear. Something ancient had noticed them all. And it was moving, not through ships, not through wormholes, but through space itself. Everywhere it passed, time twisted. Memory changed. Entire civilizations were forgotten, as if they had never existed at all. The Forgotten Ones, Earth's elite shadow soldiers, had started receiving strange signals in their helmets. Names of places that didn't exist. Orders that were never given. One of them, Della, began seeing visions of cities she had never visited and people she had never known. She told her commander, "I think it's erasing history." He replied, "No, it's rewriting it." Earth now had only one choice: to fight something it couldn't see. In a deep bunker under the Andes Mountains, scientists worked around a strange object, a piece of the black core that had survived the explosion. It pulsed weakly, like a dying heartbeat. One scientist named Dr. Aaron believed it could be turned into a weapon. Not to kill it, he said, but to make it look away. The idea was simple, but dangerous. The black core was a prison key. If they could reverse its signal, they might blind the thing watching them. For a moment, just enough time to strike back. While Earth's scientists worked on this risky plan, Ethan Cale, the shadow agent who had faced the core, prepared for something else. He knew they couldn't stop this force forever, but he believed they could send a message, not in words, in action. He gathered a team of Earth's best minds, tacticians, hackers, even poets. "Why poets?" someone asked him. He answered, "Because we're not just trying to survive, we're trying to mean something." If the universe was about to reset, then humans would make sure they were remembered, even if it was by the very thing trying to forget them. Meanwhile, in the deepest layer of the Zeranti data core, Earth's AI found something strange. A forgotten transmission, thousands of years old, from a race that no longer existed. The voice was weak, filled with fear. "They come when you stop fighting," it said. "They erase only those who obey." Commander Lin stared at the message. "They're not punishing chaos," she said. "They're punishing surrender." In that moment, Earth's path became clear. Fight. Always fight. Never bow. Never beg. And maybe, just maybe, that would be enough. In orbit above Earth, the final ship was ready. Black, silent, shaped like a blade. Inside it was the reverse signal, built from the core fragment. It would only work once. Ethan Cale stood at the center, wearing a new suit laced with memory recording threads. His mind would become a story, a message, a final scream into the void. He looked down at Earth one last time. "Make them remember," he whispered. The ship launched. As it entered the place where stars had gone missing, time twisted. Shapes moved in the dark, massive, shifting, formless. Ethan activated the device. A silent pulse shot through the black. Everything froze for one breath. Then, the void blinked, and something inside it looked away. Back on Earth, every clock jumped forward by 3 seconds. When they asked the AI what happened, it said, "You were noticed, then you were measured. Now, you are being watched." Earth had won a moment. Not peace, not safety, just a pause. And in that pause, humanity prepared. Because the Watchers had seen Earth's truth. Humans don't run. They endure. They resist. Even if the stars fell, even if time itself turned to dust, humans would stand. And that, more than anything, was the one thing the universe didn't expect. The sky turned red, not from war, not from fire, but from something deeper, something cosmic. Stars bled light, and time itself began to flicker. Across Earth, people looked up and felt it. The universe was changing. Satellites lost direction. Clocks skipped beats. Entire sectors of memory, both digital and human, went blank for seconds. The Watchers were close now. The silent force that had erased civilizations, rewritten space, and punished surrender was no longer distant. It was here. But Earth did not kneel. In the deep command center under the Arctic ice, Commander Lynn Rowan stood before a massive screen. Images of erased worlds, crumbling systems, and twisted space spiraled across it. She didn't blink. "They want to delete us," she said, "so we'll leave a mark too deep to erase." The AI beside her spoke calmly. "You have one final move. Earth's last plan was dangerous, insane even, but it was human. Dr. Arun had built a final signal bomb, an echo using human thought, emotion, and memory. It wouldn't kill, it wouldn't fight, but it would overwhelm. They called it the memory spike. Ethan Cale's mind had been recorded, his mission, his pain, his memories, and combined with the thoughts of 1,000 other humans, soldiers, poets, children, lovers, rebels. The spike would be launched straight into the heart of the Watchers. Space. Not to beg, not to ask for mercy, but to force them to feel everything Earth had ever been. Because if the Watchers erased what they didn't understand, then Earth would show them something they could never forget. In space, the final ship launched. The world watched. Inside the ship was no one alive, just stories, just truth. As it crossed into the zone of erased stars, the spike activated. There was no sound, no explosion, just emotion. Billions of memories poured out like light. A soldier's last stand, a mother's lullaby, a child's first laugh, a rebel's scream in the dark, and at the center of it all, Ethan Cale's final words. Burned into the signal, we are not perfect, we are not peaceful, but we are real, and we remember. Then, everything stopped. Satellites returned. Stars flickered back to life. The sky turned blue again. For a moment, the universe paused. Earth held its breath. And then came the message. Not through words, not through sound, but written across the stars in a pattern only Earth could read. Understood. Commander Lin stared at the screen. No one spoke. The AI slowly whispered, "They won't erase you." Earth was not saved because it was strong, not because it was smart, but because it refused to forget itself, even when the void tried to take it. The Zeranti Empire, watching from afar, collapsed in silence. Some surrendered. Others joined Earth, quietly, because now they knew it had never been about power. It was about memory, meaning, truth, and only the humans had dared to fight with it. Years later, children would learn about the war not through numbers or charts, but through poems, songs, stories. They would learn that once, long ago, something older than time tried to erase the galaxy, and one small world stood up and said, "No." Now, the stars shine a little brighter, not because Earth is safe forever, but because somewhere in the deep dark, the Watchers still look, and they remember.